gonna see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need.
Can't never forget.
Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees.
I never forget.
Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed.
And they gotta get it.
Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
Woo.
You're now tuned in to Precept Upon Precept.
Crew so strange. Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression.
In Christ. Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precepts. We're your hosts. My name is Captain Shem. Shalom.
Officer Micah.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Mikael.
So all praise to the Most High. Listen, and we want to give a shout out real quick. Where's the Booster Club at? You already know what's going on, y'all. The Booster Club. We are on mission. And we have so many missions. We can't keep track of how many hundreds of missions we have.
Right.
We're going all over the world, different continents, constantly traveling, and it is all, majority is the Booster Club. You faithful brothers and sisters who send your donations in on a regular basis. Don't forget, I'm going to repeat it. You can text GIVE to 646-982-3858, or you can scan the PayPal barcode and donate that way. All right, your funds are going to travel. The profits are traveling. So with that, like we always start every show, we're going to go straight to Officer Micah with the Watchman report. Stick around.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless. Not going to hold up the show tonight. We got a good show lined up for you. All right, let's get to the article. National Guard troops appear in Washington, D.C. as mayor rejects Trump authoritarian push. They harassing the heck out of our people, man. You know what scriptures say? In their affliction, they're going to seek the Lord early. Next article. Hurricane Aaron brushes North Carolina today, plus tracking more development in the Atlantic. It's that season, it's that time. Make sure that you are preparing accordingly, all right? CDC shooter died by suicide after fired nearly 200 rounds at headquarters, authorities say. So, hey, these type of things are going to continue to happen. Why? They're going to keep putting the National Guard where they supposed to be at. Next article. Trump to take over D.C. police and deploy the National Guard in effort to fight crime in the nation's capital. And other states, what they doing? They following suit. They sending troops up there too. So, hey, y'all make sure y'all stand in the state. Pray. Horror as body of pregnant woman discovered in plastic storage bin dumped on side of road as 2 men arrested. I guarantee you they didn't ask them what church they went to. They never ask these Caucasians that. They do these heinous crimes. They never ask them what religion they believed in. They're probably good Christians, though. The largest immigrant detention center in the U.S. has opened. What you need to know. They snatched a sister up from Colombia. Wig and everything came off and deported her quick. Live. Damn. TSA bans new items. This is for all you prophets and sisters that travel. Check this article out. TSA bans new items in checked bags. See what they are, why they're banned. So make sure you stand up with this because this will affect a lot of our people if we're ignorant of it. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
You are now live.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. So tonight's show, Babylon versus BRICS, the United States' final stand for global dollar dominance. As you can see, the dollar bill is crumbling, it's on fire, it's going down, and the BRICS coin is rising. So we see the United States in the background. You got Donald Trump looking worried because his dollar is collapsing.
Facts, y'all. Hey, AI, I tell you, AI, one day we going to get New Orleans, we're going to get, I know we make it where like the bishop has it where he can get it live, but I wonder one day we going to get it where we're going to be able to show like little theater type of movie little clips. We're going to get there. And tonight, and this is heavy because we've taught in the last, since the beginning, before the Ukraine war. So it's been almost 4 years we've been teaching classes on BRICS, nonstop. So now we are going to get into it again tonight. Let's start first. I want the map of the new BRICS nations. Okay, I know we got a BRICS folder. We've covered it multiple times. Okay. The new BRICS map. Okay. So everybody at home, we're gonna take a step back, and some of you, thank you. Some of you may or may not understand the level of growth that BRICS have had. So, for example, if we look at the word in the lower bottom where it says BRICS, B as in for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China, and S for South Africa. That's what it started in the late 2008 or 9. I forget the year exactly was. Now, the actual members, everyone at home, look at the red. The red now does not have 5 letters as in the acronym BRICS. It has 9 members. And the orange is all the partner nations. Okay? Saudi Arabia was invited. They did not become a member. And where is the other one? This should be. And there's some more. There's like 15 or 20 that want to join. All right. So keep in mind, look at the map of the Eastern Hemisphere. Let's look at the populations real quick. China has 1.3 something billion people. India, which is, take your pointer and put it on if you don't mind. Can you do that with the mouse? Is that too much to ask? Never mind, just forget about it. India is right there, is 1.4 billion. China, Russia, they've got a couple 100 million, but the point is that there are billions of people that are in the BRICS and partners. So keep that in mind as we go through today's show. And I'm going to ask for that map a little later on again. All right, start with number 1. Number 1. We're probably not going to get to everything, but we're going to start with number, I believe it's an article. Okay. Okay, redacted, yes. Okay, this guy, there's something in the first timestamp. Trump sitting down, and this is a famous interviewer. You've probably seen him before. Is it Kudlow, I think his name is? Trump makes a statement. And as we get through the second half of the show, you're going to understand why that he deployed a naval fleet with 4,000 U.S. Marines to Venezuela. A lot of you didn't even hear about that. This is big time. Play it.
I'm just talking about the value of our currency. I'm talking about our currency being used throughout the world.
You want it to remain. You want the dollar to remain the world's reserve currency.
Well, I think it's bigger than losing any war.
In 31 days, everything changes for the U.S.
Quick. I want you to play it again. I'm not going to make any comments. Donald, he recently said this, and he compared losing the dollar to this. Play it again.
Just talking about the value of our currency. I'm talking about our currency being used throughout the world.
You want it to remain. You want the dollar to remain the world's reserve currency.
Well, I think it's bigger than losing any war.
In 31 days, everything changes for the U.S. dollar. And Trump knows it, by the way. He knows we're not talking about some vague, far-off threat here. We're talking about a countdown clock that has already been ticking. Trump is already kind of gearing up for this. He's been hinting at it over the past few weeks. So in 31 days, the Fed takes action to further weaken the U.S. dollar, slashing interest rates. They know that trouble is on the horizon. That's the only reason they're doing it. And while most of the media is still asleep at the wheel, the truth is the dollar's grip on the world is slipping fast. Americans are suffering. And honestly, that was the backdrop of this week's meeting with President Trump and President...
So real quick, pause. Who remembers on you brothers in the panel? Who remembers there was something that we've covered it a million times? Something happened in the early 70s that changed the way business is done in the world. Yeah, we covered it. Y'all can get into it because I'm not doing all the talking tonight.
The dollar used to be backed by gold. You had a certain amount of gold, and you would print a certain amount of promissory notes backed by that gold. When they introduced the petrodollar, they just started printing money like just crazy. So now you have nothing to back the currency. Because it's essentially just, it's a promissory note, but what do you have to pretty much hold good on that promise?
Yeah, pretty much the American dollar is backed by the economy. So as long as the economy is good, the dollar is good. But as we see, the economy is falling, and a lot of the other nations who held some of those treasuries, some of those debts, are getting rid of those debts to the dollar, and they're actually buying gold.
And it happened this week. China is dumping U.S. debt. So it was everything that Officer Mike, Officer Thomas said is a fact. Also, it's America's good name. People, they think of the U.S., that's good business. People are not having that mindset now. And that's why put up the thumbnail again. Babylon is falling. Tonight we're going to prove it with stats. Babylon versus BRICS. The United States' final stand for global dollar dominance. It's falling. It's falling in our lifetime to the point where we pull up later articles and videos, you're going to see how much it's dropped in the last decade and a half or so. So Donald Trump said, and I quote, that losing U.S. dollar dominance is worse than losing a war. Because through the power of the U.S. dollar, that's where they get the power to enforce sanctions and embargoes. If you do not have the power of the U.S. dollar, your sanctions mean nothing. And this is why Trump is doing all the things he's doing with the tariffs, and you'll see as we play on.
A declining U.S. dollar, the rise of the BRICS nations. Zero Hedge, by the way, just published a damning, really eye-opening report about the U.S. dollar and BRICS nations using gold to get around the U.S. dollar. They're building an entirely new trade and financial system right before our eyes. Putin walked into this meeting in a much stronger position than he's ever had before. So today I want to break all of this down for you, all of these news items that have happened.
Okay, so keep in mind, this last week, Donald Trump, it's all over the news, Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin in, really it was a neutral ground because Alaska is, the Bering Strait separates eastern Russia from, put up a map of Alaska. And it's going to show you the very most eastern tip of Russia, which, by the way, Esau says that's how Gad got here. The Native American Indians crossed a frozen North Arctic Circle, which is impossible. You got a map? It shouldn't be that much of a big deal. So we're going to look at that. Look at this map, y'all.
And while they were getting the map, we talked about America sanctioning Russia. Those sanctions have only made Russia stronger because all they did was make other allies elsewhere. And it shows because when Tucker Carlson went to Russia to interview Vladimir Putin, he went inside of Russian stores to show that, look, they doing good over here. They grocery stores not lacking. Further proving that those sanctions that America tried to put on Russia didn't hurt them at all.
Right, and you're going to see that. And that's why a lot of the American sanctions literally, it had China say they helped to strengthen BRICS. It backfired. So can you back out a little bit? Okay, this is fine. This is fine. So if you look, y'all look at Russia to your left. You see the gray. A lot of you know about this, but some of you don't. Look how close Russia is to part of the U.S. It is the Bering Strait. I think it's less than 50 miles. It's very, somebody could Google on your phone. You got to go crazy with it. I believe, actually, I tell you, I believe it may be less than 50 miles. And that's all that separates eastern Russia and from the Alaskan coast, okay? And they met, I believe they met, how much? 55. 55 miles. That's very, very, very close. So Vladimir Putin met with Donald Trump in Alaska, which is technically part of the U.S., and they had their walk along the runway. They did the ceremonial, and then they had a meeting. So Trump is trying to end the war, which he has no control over that. Go to the, hang on a sec. Go to the next timestamp, please. While we wait, you got it? Okay.
Maybe several pegs. And the markets already see it coming. Everybody is betting on a rate cut in September. Rate cuts weaken the dollar. And when that happens, money starts pouring into hard assets like gold. But it's not just the Fed. Here in the United States, something remarkable is happening that the mainstream media barely mentions. States are starting to bring back real money. Yeah, 5 states in the United States.
This is important. 5 states before, like if I have gold, I can value it and I can actually, it's part of my portfolio. It's a commodity. Now states are saying I can pay for things with gold now. This is new. So if it's happening in the 5 states, it's not happening. These are important states. It's not like North Dakota. These are with a population less than 1 million people. The states that it's going to pretty much is going to be in all states, and we're not hearing about this. Gold used as money, it's not being reported about. So play on.
Have now passed laws making gold and silver legal tender. This isn't symbolic. It's a revolt against fiat money, against government currency.
Pause. I need you to look up the term fiat money. Fiat money is basically fake money, to the point where you've got states in the United States are actually, it is an act of revolt, saying that we know the dollar is so weak, we're gonna change laws in our state saying that you can pay. Let me give you an example. I was at the airport a couple months ago, and I'm looking around. Most of the places that you go to, many of them, I'll say that, you cannot pay with cash.
They don't take cash.
And it's going to get to the point where you're only going to have to pay with a card, credit, Apple Pay on your phone. They have all these different things. It's going to get to that point where they're going to phase out the dollar. And that's what they did in China. When you're going to, a digital currency backed by a central bank is going to happen. And this is what they're preparing. China is already starting to do that now. So fiat money.
Fiat money explained. Fiat money is a government-issued currency that is not backed by a physical commodity like gold or silver. Instead, its value is derived from the trust and confidence.
Stop. For many, many years, the world, and guess where they got the trust and confidence? Give me Revelation 13. The trust is 11 or 13. It says, and he made fire come down from heaven. So the trust and confidence that Esau in America got was this event gave him the trust and confidence of everybody. Because Japan was bold enough where they bombed Hawaii and Pearl Harbor. After that, everybody bowed down to the U.S. and its prophecy. Revelation, start at verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1.
It just came to me. I didn't have this written down. Read.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the seas.
A beast rise up out of the seas. Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. If y'all get a chance, go look up Revelation 13, Bishop Nathaniel. Not only does Bishop Nathaniel go through all of Revelation 13, he goes through all of Revelation, period. Okay, read on.
And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy.
Right, now let's jump down. Let me see. Is it 12? Okay, read, yes, 13. No, 12 first. You're right on 13, though. Read 12.
Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right, that's talking about the Holy Roman Empire. They were healed. And then they came back under 1400s with the Caesar Borgia. The whole white is back. We're back. Read on.
And he doeth great wonders.
Stop. The he goes up to Revelation 13, verse 1. This is talking about Esau, the so-called white man in America. This is talking about Babylon the Great. Read on.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire.
Read it again. This is very important. Read it again.
And he doeth great wonders.
He. Who's the he? He is when it says he exercised the power of the first beast before him. The descendants of the Romans were Edomites. The he that came out of him is an Edomite. Read on.
So that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
When historically did that happen? All of you that watch IUIC, we know it happened in 1945. It was the ending. It was the power push to end World War II when the U.S., y'all got to see the movie Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer goes into the race between, I think, was it the Germans and the United States Caucasian. They raced for the atom bomb technology. And the U.S. got it first. They dropped the atom bomb over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is biblical. Where John saw that, John the Revelator saw that in a dream. He saw what happened. So, good, put that up there. That's good stuff. Put it up there. Okay, that's bombing Berlin. That's Germany. That's good. If you were to type in a bomb, atom bomb, it'll show you. They wrote the name of it and everything. That's where Esau got that from. They write the names in all the bombs. So, it's all right. Good initiative. Go back to Revelation real quick.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
That's the point. So that is when he got the respect. That's when he's been ruling. It wasn't because he's a nice guy. Because here's the thing. Let's say, for example, go type in when did Pearl Harbor happen? I think it was June of 1941. Type in Japan's bombing of Pearl Harbor. Because
December 7th, 1941.
December 7th. Because he wasn't the man then. You don't think that Japan knew that they were attacking a U.S. base? You damn straight they know. And they had plans to attack California. So they did not. Japan was an island. They didn't have no respect for the U.S. But after they dropped that bomb, everybody got in line. Everybody. And then it was the whole race for space, race for nuclear development between the Soviet Union and then the United States. And that's what the Vietnam War was for. Vietnam War was to position, it wasn't because they wanted to be in friggin' North Vietnam. They didn't give a damn about the damn South Vietnamese. They still don't give a damn about them. It was positioned, when you look on a map, Vietnam was a point of, same thing with Korea, that I could launch up and get to Russia. That's why they did it. Let me see. Don't worry about it if it's taking too long. I don't want to hold y'all up. Go back to that redacted.
A middle finger to the US dollar against the idea that pieces of paper with nothing behind them should be trusted forever. So lawmakers are saying out loud what we all know: the dollar's days as the thing we all rely on are coming to an end. Listen to Colonel McGregor on our show just a few weeks ago talking about the undercurrent of everything that's happening right now as the BRICS nations rise.
Remember, Putin just a few weeks ago spoke to the leaders of all the major industries and firms in the private sector in Russia and said it's time to come to terms with reality that these sanctions are never going to go away. The West is not going to finally wake up and turn back towards us and recognize that we're not the enemy. So we have to build bridges elsewhere. Those bridges are being built. It's called BRICS. And of course, you have the other supporting organizations like the Shanghai Cooperation Council and other entities, but they're all part of the same. Let's move away from the United States. Let's get out from under these people. Let's no longer be dependent upon them.
And this is the thing you understand. There are many political figures like Colonel McGregor, who was in the Trump administration before, who are like, look, Russia's not the problem. We should be allying with them. But then you look at Trump's pattern when he did his first 45th presidency. You look at how Biden relapsed and Biden was arming Ukraine. And now you look how Trump gets back in power. All of these hearts of the president, God is hardening. Because you say, Russia has no problem with you. God has to make a problem with these leaders to create the prophecy to be unfold. The Valley of Megiddon, all of that is got to happen. Everybody turning against the U.S., if he listened to his advisors, then he'd make peace with everybody in Europe. Everyone would be with one big kumbaya. It cannot be like that. In order for the horns to hate the whore, Europe is going to have to be isolated from the U.S. And that's what we're happening. We're seeing that over the last couple months. Play on.
So that we can live in peace. In other words, in a very interesting way, the Chinese, the Russians, and the whole global South and everybody is practicing a form of containment towards us.
But it gets worse. Globally, central banks are buying gold at a record pace. We're talking 4 straight years of over 1,000 tons of gold. Russia is leading the way. They're not doing this for fun. They're doing it to insulate themselves from the U.S. financial system. So when Putin was meeting with Trump this weekend, he had more cards than he's ever had before. Now, I know, all the MAGA crowd, like the Trump can never do it.
We're going to skip that. Let's move on. It's going to take too much time. Go to number 2. This is I believe it's an article from, y'all get a chance. Routers is Reuters is a good source, very good source of information. The I in BRICS is India. India is the largest population on the planet Earth, and this is what they're doing is strengthening BRICS. Let's read that.
Routers. India sees Asia's biggest earnings. India sees Asia's biggest earnings downgrades as U.S. tariffs loom. August 21st, Indian companies have seen the steepest earnings downgrades in Asia, with analysts slashing forecasts as steep U.S. tariffs heighten risk to growth even if proposed domestic tax cuts help cushion the impact. According to the LSEG IBES data, forward 12-month earnings estimates for India's large and mid-cap firms have been cut by 1.2% in the past 2 weeks, the sharpest in Asia.
1.2% in 2 weeks is an amazing cut. It is a horrible thing for the Indian economy. And I don't know if we remember, some of you that watched the show, Prime Minister Modi met with Donald Trump. And even when they were meeting in person, Trump's like, I love India. They're great people. We're still going to hit you with a tariff. We can't even sell cars over there. We're going to hit you. I love this guy. I love the Indian people. We're going to tariff you. What the Most High is allowing Trump to do is to set up all these nations to, A, have animosity towards the U.S., but they can't say anything because they're all the most powerful nation in the world. And B is, okay, well, we can't, they don't like us, they're doing this. We have to form together. And this is why BRICS and everything is happening.
India, look at what's imported into the U.S. from India. Just do a quick AI search because it's going to put a hurting on, hey, some brothers and sisters going to lose a lot of weight because they, I think they do rice and some other stuff.
Big agricultural producer, big time.
Just quick, what does India import into the U.S.? Just read some of the stuff they bring in.
Top categories by value: pearls, precious stones, metals, and coins.
Mm-hmm.
India's expertise in diamond cutting and polishing makes it a leading supplier to the U.S. market.
That's going to put a hurting. Look at those electrical things, because what it's going to affect the U.S. population, because they rely on a lot of that medical equipment, because we exported a lot of the jobs to China, India, places like that, where they actually know how to build those things. That's going to put a hurt. You got to think about it, because if they getting help from Russia, they gonna start sending that stuff over to Russia. Like, well, Russia got my back, so I'm gonna start working with them. Why send it over here if you're gonna tax me on it when I can go over here where I can actually get a return on my investment?
That's a hell of a point. And if you think about it, the proof of that is BRICS goes from 5 countries to 9. That's the actual members. Then you have the partner nations, and there's a whole list of nations that are waiting to get in. So there's the proof that what the U.S. is doing, and how through sanctioning and embargoes, and now through the tariffs, which is this last 6 months, they are isolating themselves as the U.S. and allowing these other nations to unite. And guess what? Put the map up again of the BRICS partner nations and nations. That's the one I said I was going to pull it again. Okay. So we can see it in the studio. There you go. Okay. That's a different map, but we'll use it. Fine. That's a completely different map. There we go. Okay. So let's look at, to your point, Officer Micah. India is right next to China.
Oh, yeah.
They're neighbors. You can go directly north. Look, Iran is not far from India at all. You can see that China's right there, and
Russia's right above them.
You have all that power, plus Indonesia now, which Indonesia is, I think, the 5th or 4th largest population in the planet Earth. All of these are strengthening. And then if you look here at Argentina, the only reason why Argentina didn't join is because the president that was elect was the opposite party. But if Argentina comes along board, look at South America. That's almost 3/4 of the whole continent of South.
Argentina is the country in the blue.
Yes, exactly.
But if we jump back over towards the east over here, look at how easy it is logistically to move your goods back and forth from China to India to Russia versus shipping it all the way over to the U.S. where you're getting tariffed and you're getting taxed. It's easier just to move back and forth and barter and trade between those neighboring countries.
Hey, to Officer Micah's point, type in China Railway Project. China's working on a project that's going to bring high-speed rails, not just in their country, throughout that whole region that Officer Micah just pointed out. And, hey, listen, these people, these Chinese folks, are planning for decades out, okay? Is that it? Yes, the BRI.
That's it.
Read that, Solomon, officer.
China has a vast world-leading high-speed rail network, which is part of the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, connecting its major cities and expanding into neighboring countries
That's
like
the point. Because
Laos.
In China and Japan, you hear they have superior transportation systems, superior highways. It's superior in every way. We had some brothers in the congregation that went to Japan. Their cities, many of their cities are much larger than New York City. Clean streets, it is a different level. Now China's taken that outside of China, and to exact what Officer Micah said is, why would I, if now I can control my currency and pay you with my currency that gets uploaded into a BRICS system, and I don't have to pay for shipping all the way across the Pacific or the Indian Ocean to get all the way to the U.S. or to fly it, when I can dump it on a railway, I'm not going to get hit with tariffs, and you're respected. You don't get there. The Most High is making this happen. You got to understand something. Pharaoh hardened, the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart. He's doing the same thing. In order to get the U.S. and Israel to be completely isolated, you have to create situations like this. Okay? Let's go back where we was at.
Real quick, Cap, can I get
Of course.
Revelations chapter 18 and verse 7? Because what we seeing is what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to make America great again by bringing back, these businesses back into America. But as we can see, it's too late. We already import so much stuff from all of these other countries. It's impossible to have all of these manufacturing companies like we used to have. Read Revelation chapter 18, verse 7 real quick.
The book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself.
And that's America. America has glorified herself for so long about how strong and how powerful, which is true. Read on.
And lived deliciously.
And everybody in America, the poorest of the people in America live way better than some of these people in the third world countries because of the imports that we get so cheap from China and all of these other different places. Read it again.
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her.
God says so much torment and sorrow give her, because once these other nations start to separate themselves so much more, a lot of the Americans going to start to feel it. Right now, people are still on TikTok. They still making their videos. It's still some safety and comfort in America right now. Read on.
For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen.
I sit a queen. Read.
And am no widow.
Read.
And shall see no sorrow.
That's the pride that America has. America thinks that they're going to stay on top forever, and BRICS not going to be a problem, and they're going to still come up on top. But the Lord is showing us that torment and sorrow is coming to America. And though it may seem like it's taking such a long time, the Lord is only doing it like this for us to repent.
Right.
And as these things happen, the Lord is increasing our faith, showing, look, this stuff is coming to pass. So take this time to get your mind right. That's all I got.
Mike, you got something?
No, sir. No, sir.
Hey, get 2nd Ezra 16. So what Thomas just said is in the scriptures. It's a fact. I remember when I was little, maybe I was 11 or something like that. Maybe I was 11 or 12. I was young. And my older brother lived in the projects, real rough projects in New York City. And I remember going there, he said, listen, he said, whatever you do, don't look at nobody, don't say nothing, just don't shut your mouth and walk near me. I said, all right, damn us. And I saw why. I said, this place is crazy. But then I get to the hallway, it smelled horrible. You see, then I get inside Keisha's apartment. Yo, they look like a Taj Mahal. I'm like, yo, look at the rugs, the TV. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Proving that even in the projects, in the worst places, people are not living like you would think. They got hot showers. They're eating at least 3 times. Look at all the fat, giant black lard asses out there. They're eating real good. So the point of is, somebody mentioned about they have a lot worse than we do. America, everybody for the most part, yeah, there's some homeless, and a lot of them choose to be homeless. Read this scripture, start of verse 1.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia.
Babylon and Asia, read.
Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
Right, talking about destruction. Now, what I want to the point is read verse 20 and 21.
Verse 20. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
That's why God is going to harden the heart of Donald Trump and the American administration to the point where they're going to isolate themselves and no one's going to help them. That's why Isaiah has to come to pass when he says, is this the man that did weaken nations? How can you take a power like the U.S. with 845 known military bases, with all the power of the military, with all the how can they fall? Let's really logically, it's almost impossible. That's why the American is so, my country could never fall, right? It's going to have to be something that is so prophetic for this place to fall. Now watch this, read on.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges.
Right, and they don't care. All these things that say you better stop doing this, and all these things with the terrorist organizations, and you're going to have all these terrorists in the U.S., they still keep doing what they're doing. Read on, watch this.
Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the
That's what Thomas is talking about. Food is cheap here. Read on.
That they shall think themselves to be in good case.
That's what Esau does, and that's what a lot of you black people do. You think, we're guilty of that too. We think because we can go to Walmart or Rouse's or any grocery store, and for $2-3 we can go to McDonald's and we have a little bit of money, we can eat still. You're gonna have a hot shower. You got indoor plumbing. You can go to a place. Let's say you living in your car. You can still go to Planet Fitness and take a shower there. You can go to food banks. You can still eat. You can check it. There's so much you can do in this country. Other places, when we was in Africa, I went to South Africa, these ghettos, they were so bad. I'm like, I couldn't believe it, man. It was me, Deacon Abiel. I forget the name of the place we went to. It was horrible, man. We shot the Israel Live thing there. It was absolutely horrible. I wanted to get the hell out. I felt so bad for those folks. Read it again. Behold.
Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth.
Right. And stuff ain't cheap in doggone Chad, Africa. This is talking about Babylon the Great. This is talking about America. Read.
That they shall think themselves.
Go to sub-Saharan Africa. You know how hard they're going to work for their food? This ain't talking about Africa. This is talking about the United States of America. Read.
That they shall think themselves to be in good case.
No, this place will never die. Read on.
And even then shall evils grow upon the earth.
Watch this.
Sword.
War.
Famine.
And
great confusion.
Confusion all across this place is confusion in Babylon the Great. That's why it says it is the mother of harlots. It's the land of confusion. Now, go back to where was that?
Why they getting that? To Cap point, it's people all over the internet literally complaining about their food stamps and how they can't buy Yoo-Hoos, oatmeal cakes, Star Crunches. These people, I witnessed it. I saw a woman pulling. This is Esau. She pulled up to a gas station. She had about an 8-carat ring. She was driving like a 2024 Escalade. And she's putting all this stuff on the counter. I'm like, yo, woman got money. She pulled out an EBT card to pay for this stuff. You can't make this stuff up. Not cash, food stamps.
Only in the United States of America. So we're going to skip the article in the interest of time. Go to number 3 because BRICS is making moves. China is making, there's an article, Officer Solomon. China is making moves with a thing called the stable coin. It's from another Routers.
Pray for the tech team.
Hey, shout out to the tech team. This is the last. We're going to be in this brother's house. Lord's will pray for us. We're going to be into our Lord's will, our school soon, and a lot of this stuff is hopefully going to get right. It's going to get better, right? We get the new school. Yes, sir. It better get better. They don't do a bad job.
Routers exclusive. China considering yuan-backed stablecoins to boost global currency usage, source says.
Right. This is from either today or yesterday. This is very recent. Read on. Today.
China is considering allowing the usage of yuan-backed stablecoins for the first time to boost wider option of its currency globally.
Wider adoption of its currency?
Of its currency globally. Sources familiar with the matter said in a major reversal of its stance towards digital assets.
So remember, China, I mentioned earlier, China has a digital currency. They're talking about bringing stable coins, which what are these stable coins going to be backed on? What are they going to be made of? And why are they doing it? Read on.
The State Council, China's cabinet, will review and possibly approve a roadmap later this month for the greater usage of the currency globally.
Because they're not using it just for China. Mm-hmm. They have the yen for that. They're using it because they're creating a global currency. Read on.
Including catching up with a U.S. push on stablecoins, said the sources. The plan is expected to include targets for usage of the Chinese currency in the global markets and outline the responsibilities of domestic regulators, they said, adding that the roadmap will also include guidelines for risk prevention.
Right. Remember we talked about the fiat currency. The U.S. has the dollar is printed. It's printed and backed by nothing. It's a fiat currency. So China's thinking about, well, if I have a stable coin, they're already thinking about risk and things of that nature. Whereas the U.S. we got a good name. We're the U.S. We drop bombs on people. We invade people's country. Doesn't matter. We'll just print more. We'll just print another $1 trillion to the point where if you Google the U.S. debt, I think it's 37 trillion freaking dollars. Google the United States national. It's either 37 or 38 trillion with a capital T. Trillion. Okay, read on.
The country's senior leadership is also expected to meet for a study session as early as the end of this month, focusing on yuan internationalists and stablecoins, which are gaining momentum worldwide.
Scroll down.
Said one of the sources.
Officer Hakim just reported the current debt of the United States of America is, listen, some countries don't even have $1 billion worth of debt. The U.S. has $37 trillion in debt. And how is it that they're still the richest country? Let's think about this country. How can someone be $37 trillion in debt, still have the most mightiest military, the #1 economy? How does it happen? The dollar has no value. It's the good name and the military power that's keeping them right. This is why when we get to the next part of the show, you're going to see that this is exact. They're going to start wars. They're going to start wars in the interest of making America safe and great. Watch. Jump out of here.
I guess my question is, Cap, who do they got like a payment plan? Who are they paying this debt back to? Because it just keeps going up, but you're not lowering it. So are they writing checks to like Vietnam or China? Who they owe this debt to?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Do me a favor. Before we get to the go to, there's a new guy. Okay. Number 9. It's easy. Nothing timestamp. So number 9, there is now 2 potential countries historically that were beaten by the United States at war, Korea, South Korea, and Japan, that are now having preliminary talks about joining BRICS. Again, get Isaiah 14. What would Japan and Korea are going to be part of these nations that ask this question, God says. 14, it's like 13. Is this the man? Let me look at it. Isaiah 14. You know what I'm talking about, right, Solomon?
Yes, sir.
Is this the man that did weaken?
It should be Isaiah 14 and 13.
Start at 1.
Start at 1?
Not 1. I'm sorry. 3.
3. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 3.
No, I'm sorry. 4.
Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
You see how in 2nd Esdras it talked about it? You see in Revelation it talked about it. All of these Israelite prophets were given the inspiration of God to see these things. This is why the Bible can't be defeated, because you have a man, Isaiah, that lived far before John the Revelator, and then you have other prophets that lived at different times, and they saw different things about the outcome of the end of the world, about America's destiny. Okay, read.
And say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
Who's the oppressor? The United States of America is Babylon the Great. Read.
The golden city.
The golden. I remember you'd hear Jamaicans and cats from the islands say that is America, the land of the gold. Money grows on trees, right? Everybody wants to get, everybody's not trying to get to the South. Name one American that's trying to move to the South Sudan. Everybody from every country is trying to get here. Read.
The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
Right, and that's what they destroyed. They sanctioned people, they embargoed, they attacked, they set up puppet governments. Right now, we're going to get into it next after the break. Donald Trump, in the name of we're fighting terror, we're fighting drugs. The drugs, they're coming in from Venezuela. We got to get the drug guys. They're bad people. And he's sending a fleet of the United States Navy with the battle-ready Marines to the coast. And you're going to find out he's not going there for drugs. It's something really clever that God's putting his spirit to do. Read on.
He who smote the people in wrath.
Right. Now, jump to
verse 16.
Yes.
Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
15, then 16.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
To a very low estate. Babylon going to be brought down to a low estate. Read.
To the sides of the pit.
Right. It don't get no lower than the pit. Read.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
Who's the thee? When you read up, it's the nations that he oppressed and weakened. Read.
And consider thee.
Wait, hold up. Japan is one of the United States' greatest allies. Do you think them Japanese people forgot about the tens of thousands people that you killed with the A-bomb? All the people, they got movies right now. I like, when I ride on planes, I watch. There's a movie that they did with Japanese war survivors. And they came to this country, and some of them they were afraid to get pregnant. They would tell their daughters, don't get pregnant because you're going to have a deformed baby, because what happened from the radiation, from the contamination from the A-bombs. Do you think that the Japanese, their grandchildren, you think they just forgot about? You think the Germans, you think everybody going to come against this place, including Japan? You think the Koreans, you got South Korea, North Korea. The U.S., before that, there was one people. And the U.S. got in and caused all the confusion. You think the South Koreans actually want Esau in their country? They ain't forgot about what they did to the Koreans. So now, that being said, I said all that. Go to this short video. And then we're going to go to break.
Push Japan and South Korea towards BRICS, the geopolitical earthquake.
So to your point, like Solomon mentioned about the tariffs, before Joe Biden never put tariffs, any other president put tariffs on these countries. Yes, Japan and South Korea do have tariffs on, that's why it's hard to sell a Chevy in Korea. It's hard to sell a Ford in Japan, right? So Trump's like, look, I got to make everything equal. It's just wrong what's going on. So now what they're realizing is that everybody made money off America. Everybody. So now Trump's doing what he thinks is fair. You charge us 25%. We're going to charge you 25%. But not knowing that the U.S. doesn't get hurt by that. Japan's really going to get hurt by that. Now watch what's going to happen. Play on.
Good day. I'm Steven with Blitz News Networks. A question once dismissed as fantasy is now pressing in capitals worldwide. Could Japan and South Korea, long pillars of U.S. strategy in Asia, move closer to the expanding BRICS bloc? BRICS began as Brazil,
Hey,
Russia.
Pause real quick. It took me 2 times after watching this. AI is so good. This is AI. And you know what? You know how you could catch it? Nobody says BRICS. This is, if you, Mika, I know you get into AI. This, I couldn't believe it. This is AI. All the natural movements, this is AI generated. And you hear little things. No one says, if you say BRICS, he says BRICK. So, but the information is on point. Play on.
India, China, and South Africa, and has broadened quickly. New full members and a partner country category now include Indonesia, Egypt, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and several Southeast Asian states. The bloc's 2025 summit in Rio pushed inclusivity and a stronger global South.
I want you to pull up a map of Brazil, and I want you to look at the city called Rio de Janeiro. I think that's what it's called. And the reason why it's so important is because they had their summit in Brazil, and Brazil is in the Western Hemisphere. Unlike most of the other BRIC nations are not in the Western Hemisphere. And when we come back, we're getting ready to go to break, right? We come back from break, we're going to show you what Donald Trump is ordering this week, which it's not being talked about. People are not talking about it in the grocery store, at the cooler, water cooler at work. They're not talking about it. So let's key in on Rio, which should be right. Yep. Right.
It's all the way at the bottom.
So Rio de Janeiro is a major city on the coast of Brazil, right? Thank you. I'm glad you did that. It's perfect. No, go back right where you was at. Show Venezuela. If I was somebody that wanted to topple Brazil, right? I'm going to do exactly what Donald Trump's doing. If I come from the north and I say it's because it's terrorism and we're stopping the drugs, all the fentanyl, it's coming through Venezuela. I don't want to go to Guyana. I don't want to go to Suriname. Look at Venezuela. You can slowly come in on the coast, work your way in, and fight going down. That's the perfect logistical start point to attack and overthrow Brazil. I'm telling you.
You know what else about that?
Bring it out.
The location of Venezuela, when you look at it, it's right in the Amazon where the rainforest is, so they can hide their military in those rainforests as they come in.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's, again, Venezuela also controls, type in what is the GDP of Venezuela and type in oil output. They have, I believe, a lot of oil resources. Here's the thing. Doesn't Colombia have a history of more drugs than Venezuela?
Yeah, they're pretty popular.
Colombia is all the drug movies. So why don't they war on Colombia? Because they have a plan. There's an ulterior, look at that. Okay. What is the oil? Okay. See if you can find the oil.
To the point about
So over 1 million barrels a day, Venezuela has the output. Okay. So it's a twofold reason why they're there. Look at that. Almost 1 million barrels a day. Wow. Wow. All right, so go back to that one more time. The map, okay. Where it says Rio, I think it was an article we were reading, right? So we see Rio, thank you, tech team. Rio, right there on the coast. Major city in Brazil. Go back to that article we were just reading. The video, sorry.
And it has Washington watching closely. Why would Tokyo or Seoul even consider such a shift? The short answer is economics and strategic hedging. President Trump's aggressive tariff moves have disrupted trade ties, hitting cars, electronics, and other key exports, and underscoring the danger.
Can y'all go back to that real quick? We talked about that earlier. Did you hear what it said? It's disrupting. His tariffs are disrupting things. So if you're disrupting it from me getting it, I'm going to go somewhere I can get a better deal. It's that simple. It's smart business. Play it again.
Strategic hedging. President Trump's aggressive tariff moves have disrupted trade ties, hitting cars, electronics, and other key exports, and underscoring the dangers of overdependence on a U.S.-centered economic order. In Tokyo, talks of greater strategic autonomy are growing louder.
Pause. Where is Tokyo? Tokyo is Japan. Now, Japan is always been, since after World War II, when they destroyed the Japanese, has always been, and they are the Asians who are most like Esau. Their markets replicate the NASDAQ. Everything is almost, their cities are built just like Esau. There's more, Captain Matt pointed this out. There are more military bases in Japan than any other country. Why? So now when you hear that Japan may be joining BRICS, now Trump realizes, I got to break this thing up. So, well, let's launch a fleet and say it's drugs in Venezuela. They're not going for just Venezuela. They want to catapult and be able to get their foothold in to attack Brazil, to send their men in Delta Force, Army Rangers, all of that to come in there and do what they got to do to topple the Green Berets. Actually, they'll send in. Okay, is that in it?
Diversification, alternative markets, development finance through the new development bank, and diplomatic leverage. For firms and governments aiming to reduce exposure to unilateral U.S. measures, closer ties with BRICS partners can be an appealing hedge. But reality bites. Japan and South Korea host significant U.S. military forces, are G7 members, and anchor the U.S.-led Indo-Pacific security architecture. Those deep security ties and vast economic links with Western markets make an abrupt pivot to BRICS unlikely in the short term. Economic constraints deepen the dilemma. China remains the region's dominant trading partner, limiting how far Japan can substitute economic
and it hasn't happened yet, but the fact that there are articles and people are talking about it means that it's going to come to pass. And why? Because in order for Isaiah to come true, even Japan and South Korea are going to say, look at this guy. Remember that when he used to pressure, remember he destroyed us, our countries, and we had to follow him and we're scared to say anything against him. Look at him. That's going to happen. So look, it's 10:45. We're getting ready to go to break. We don't have Officer Yasa with us. Shout out to Officer Yasa. Hope you feel better, brother. We come back. We're going to go to the second half of the show. Y'all stick around. We still have a good part of the show to go. Stick around, y'all. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Why do you subscribe? IUIC New Orleans, subscribe. Go to our YouTube page. Help us to grow. Comment, like, share. What's going on? Make it happen.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. Deacon Abiel here. We out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here to bring the word of God with fire to our people.
Let me tell you something, New Mexico. There is a hidden secret right here in this land called New Mexico. You blacks, you Hispanics, and you Native American Indians are God's chosen people.
We're here at the Route 66 Festival. This is the same route, runs all the way back to where I'm from in Oklahoma, runs all the way across the United States. They use the same route to destroy our people, the nation of Gad. We're out here to bring truth to our people. Even though they're celebrating some nonsense, we're gonna bring in the word of God. We're gonna show them what the Most High God has guaranteed us if we keep facing His Son and understand who we are and keep His commandments. So y'all stay tuned. There's gonna be some fire coming out. The brothers is hyped. Brothers is pumped up. We're about to bring them this word. Most High in Christ bless.
The city was named after a 17th century Spanish nobleman, or more accurately, a duke. The original name of the city was Albuquerque, after the Duke of Albuquerque.
We're here at the Route 66 Festival. This is the same route, runs all the way back to where I'm from in Oklahoma, runs all the way across the United States. They use the same route to destroy our people, the nation of Gad.
Here they come, here they come. Marching on, marching on. And I want they can't stop the men of IUIC.
We are in Albuquerque, New Mexico, known as Duke City. These same Spaniards who called themselves Dukes used Route 66 to come and colonize the Native American Indians who was known as Gad according to the Bible.
Hispanics or the Latin community culture and the Native Americans who were already kings in this world.
And baby, I'm bugging. Whenever I read the Bible, I read about all these black people. And for some reason, we never equate these people to us and where we come from.
The city was named after a 17th
What you see before you, you got so-called African Americans, so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, and then you got the so-called Hispanics, the so-called indigenous of the land coming back together, being at one stick again.
Estamos aquí en la Conferencia de Hombres 2025 en la ciudad de Houston. Ya tú estás viendo los hombres de Dios, el ejército de Dios, preparando para marchar a la ciudad en Third Ward, a darle el ejemplo, la luz a la gente que somos una nación unida. Ya no somos negros, latinos, latinoamericanos, somos la nación de Israel, despertado, guardando los mandamientos de la fe en Cristo.
Nosotros estamos aquí para enseñarte que sí, el moreno, el latino y el indio nativo, nosotros somos una familia, un ejército de Dios, y estamos aquí en Texas para enseñar a la gente que nosotros sí somos ese ejército de Dios.
¿Qué tú piensas de lo que estás viendo? La unidad de negros y latinos en el junto en unidad.
Pienso que es lo mejor que puede unidos nosotros más.
Así es.
Blacks and Hispanics are coming back together. This is a movement that has never been seen before. Why? Because this is the true unity under Christ, the Black Messiah. The Most High put the Spirit on Bishop Nathaniel to lead our people, the bishops, the deacons. A lot of people out here coming out the stores looking shocked. Why? because they see blacks and Hispanics coming together.
Have you seen so many blacks and Hispanics together in unison before?
No, this is amazing.
What you're saying is something that has not been done before on a global scale. You got blacks, you got Hispanics, you got Native Americans, all out here, one mind, one accord, moving in unity, showing the people that we can come together, that black and brown division that our oppressors causing us. We're bridging that gap through the Spirit of the Lord. Only IUIC is doing, man. All praise to the Most High God.
It's that time. You know what I mean? It's that time for the awakening.
What do you think about black and Hispanic unity?
Come on, y'all are cousins, man. Mexicans and Hispanics are our cousins, bro. We've been separated through race. We've been divided. You know what I mean? This is what's supposed to happen. It's about that time. The prophecy.
Babylon versus BRICS. The United States' final stand for global dollar dominance. The U.S. is in trouble, y'all. We've been going over it all night. The dollar's falling, and that BRICS coin is rising.
Hey, tech team, I told you 4, but before I do 4, go to number 8, please, because number 8 is, there's a new guy. Just check this guy. He's pretty thorough. Timestamp 00 to 223, and it's entitled BRICS Declares War on the Dollar. So we showed you multiple things today. Japan and South Korea potentially going in. We showed you the map of the 9 member states, the multiple partner states. We showed you how BRICS is literally taking up more and more share of the dollar. This is pretty informative. Play.
Currency started to dominate the world. The US dollar. For about 80 years, it's been the foundation of global trade and the weapon of American sanctions and the center of US economic power. But in 2025, that power is under attack. President Trump has just threatened 100% tariffs on some of the world's fastest growing economies unless they do one thing: stop what he calls a war on the US dollar.
It's an attack on the dollar, and we're not going to let anybody attack the dollar.
Now, these are not small countries. The BRICS nations include Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and many more, and they now account for roughly 56% of the world's population and close to half of global GDP. And 2 of those member countries, India and Brazil, are getting hit with tariffs as high as 50% on their exports to the US that are worth billions and billions of dollars a year. Now, in response, they want to fight back.
It's already bad. You don't want the situation to get any worse.
They want to match US tariffs, redirect trade to other markets, and they want to...
On what this guy is about to say, right? The same thing with Chavez. Remember, did they kill Chavez? They killed Chavez, didn't they? When Chavez said he smells like sulfur when George Bush was here. What this guy here, yeah, I'm telling you, he is the president of Brazil. Watch what he says, and it will make you realize what we're about to go over next about the troops to Venezuela. We looked at the map. Venezuela is north of Brazil. Watch what he says.
Stronger ties within the bloc.
During the call, the Indian Prime Minister and President Lula discussed ways to deepen their strategic partnership, including trade, technology, energy, defense, agriculture, health, and people-to-people ties.
BRICS is accelerating a multiple-year effort to lower their reliance on the dollar. And the way they want to do that is by trading more in local currencies, building new payment systems, and even talking about a shared currency for cross-border commerce.
I don't need to remain subordinate.
Pause. Remember, this guy is the president of Brazil. Remember I said, y'all at home, watch what he's about to say about the United States. Play on.
To the dollar.
And if they succeed, the dollar's share of...
We missed it. I'm sorry. He said something real quick.
Multiple-year effort to lower their reliance on the dollar. And the way they want to do that is by trading more in local currencies, building new payment systems, and even talking about a shared currency for cross-border commerce.
I don't need to remain subordinate to the dollar.
And if they succeed,
he said he, meaning Brazil, does not need to be subordinate to the dollar. In order for someone to say that statement, there has to be something that you can be subordinate to. Brazil don't run the world, so you're either going to be subordinate to the U.S. or there's something else that you're going to fall in line with, showing you that the tides are turning. That's the proof right there. Now, play on.
the dollar's share of global dominance, which has already slipped from over 70% 2 decades ago to about 58% today, could...
This is important. Look at this line graph. This is the line graph, y'all. All the way to your left, look where it says the bottom, it says 2001. Look at the power it commanded up above 72%, right? And it drops, and it drops. And if you look right there, about 2016 it dropped, and then it went back up in Trump took the office. That's right when he took his first office, right? And it went up during his currency. And you can see right where COVID happened. You can see this sharp start, right? Now you look here in 2025, bottom right, it is all the way down to, well, it's back up to 57% right now. And it's going to continue to trend downward. So this is all, a lot of this is the backfiring of the sanctions, and particularly in 2009, that's when BRICS, 2008-9, that's when BRICS came on the scene. So it's a steady spiral downward, and this is how most of the countries and central banks are buying more and more and more gold and trying to create a currency based upon gold and not a fiat currency, which is money backed by just a good promise. Okay? Play.
And that means potentially higher borrowing costs for U.S. consumers, weaker sanction power, and a restructuring of the global economy. So today, I'm going to break down how BRICS just declared war on the US dollar, the specific things they're doing in 2025, and what all of this means for your savings, investments, and the cost of living in America. So with that said, let's get into it.
So there's one more. If your brother's going to bring something up, please do. Please.
So they said earlier about dealing with their local currency. It makes me think back to Black Wall Street and why it actually got bombed. It's the same thing, because that dollar in 1921 in Black Wall Street didn't leave that community for 36 weeks. Right. And you think about it, it's only 52 weeks in a year. So that kind of economic power is frightening to the United States. And you think about it on a global level now, of course, they have an issue with that. Of course, they're looking at it like it's an attack on the dollar.
Yeah, this goes to show, can I get Proverbs 21 verse 1? It just goes to show that this is nobody else doing but the Lord's doing. Because everybody could see what's going on besides America and Donald Trump. Everybody could see that these countries are separating themselves from each other, from the United States. Wouldn't it be beneficial to America to work with these companies?
Exactly.
To get more money? You're already the wealthiest country. Why not work with these countries instead of separating yourself? It's showing you that this is the Lord's doing. This is not men that's doing this. Read that scripture real quick.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
The king's mind is in the hand of the Lord. The Lord is governing Trump and all these other nations to do his bidding in order to wake up the 12 tribes of Israel and bring us back into our land. It's no coincidence that all of these, everybody, Japan has a lot of American debt too. And now it seems like they about to get on with BRICS. So all of this goes to show that, this is the Lord's doing. This is not a coincidence.
Remember Muammar Gaddafi? He did the same thing. He's like, look, he's starting to realize, like, man, before they put him to death, he was realizing what a lot of these leaders, they follow that same playbook. They said, look, you know what? We can do it ourselves. We can ally with people who are going to give us a better deal. They following that same blueprint, and watch, it's going to pop off. It's going to pop off.
And another reason why they have to respect the BRICS nations is Russia has the most nuclear weapons out of any country.
Mm-hmm.
China has an increasing arsenal. India has nuclear weapons. There are multiple, and there's other ones that have, is it Pakistan? I forget. There's a couple other BRICS nations that has nuclear capacity. Iran, yes, they're working on that. Okay, now let's get to the second part. Get number 4. Something happened this week. Yes. Forget that we don't have time. Just go to number 4, please. This just happened this week, and I had to search for this. I said, wait a minute. So let me look at this, and I had to start looking into this. It's a short video. Times 10.
President Trump has ruled out boots on the ground in Ukraine. He hasn't done it when it comes to Venezuela. Now, things got a little bit scary when the State Department put out what they said was a $50 million reward for a man they said is a fugitive.
Pause. Do me a favor. I want you to fact check this because I still don't believe this. Type in U.S. State Department $50 million reward for Maduro. Type that in because I believe this is true. The United States of America, this is the legitimate president of Venezuela. They put out a $50 million reward for this guy's capture.
$50 million.
And don't we all, like, back to that point, we got all this debt. Right. Where they getting $50 million from?
To capture one man.
One man. Trillions of dollars worth of debt, but they can cut a $50 million check.
And what this does is this is not for some rogue Army Ranger like the Reaper to go kill this guy. This is going to spark people that live in the country to try to overthrow and assassinate this guy. That's what they're doing it for. And guess what? The U.S., you think they're going to pay that dude that kills him?
Nope.
Come on.
And it's crazy that they got a hit out for the president. It ain't like he no thug. It's the president, the top man in the country.
Hey, but if you read it, it says the U.S. government accuses Maduro of being the leader of cartel de la Soul. So they are calling him a thug.
Oh, gosh. But when you go into Maduro, when you look into the history of Maduro, he actually is for the people of Venezuela. He's for the people of Venezuela. Thank you, Officer Isaac. Can we read that? The AI overview.
The United States has offered a reward of up to $50 million for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
Yeah.
This reward is offered under the Narcotics Rewards Program and is a significant increase from the previous reward of $25 million offered for Maduro. The U.S. government accuses...
So, pause on that. Just to show you the level of, it goes back to the United States. God is making the U.S. isolate itself. So now, keep in mind, we mentioned the map. Venezuela is literally north of Brazil. Brazil said, we don't have to be subordinate to the dollar anymore. Brazil is the B in BRICS. They are trying to stop the control of BRICS influence in the Western Hemisphere. They can't stop it over there and where Russia's at, but they can try to stop it on this side. And this is why Donald Trump wants to isolate the whole West. He wants, let's really think about this, what's been going on the last couple shows over the couple months. Why would Trump want Greenland? Why would Trump want to make Canada the 51st state? Why is Trump doing all the things he's doing with Central America? That's the whole half of the world. And now if he gets in Venezuela and you take Brazil, Trump has isolated the entire North, Central, and South. That's what he's trying to do. If we can't control over there, we're going to have to control over it. He wants, and they got Alaska already, they want all of that. The Most High allowing this to happen. And every country is going to turn except Israel because they're the least of the flock. Everybody going to turn.
Cap, he said it with
Bring it out.
He said it with the Golden Dome. He said, "Look, if they want, if they want our protection, we'll see what they have to offer." He already setting it up. He lining it up like, yeah, they going to pay me. And he said that about was it Canada when they were trying to act up a little bit.
Yeah.
Trump is making chess moves, and God is like Thomas pulled out. The king's heart is in the Lord's hand. The same thing when I think it's in Amos or Hosea where Most High visit men when they sleep and put upon their head about what they will do when they waketh. Play on.
Trafficker, but when people looked at the name, they're like, wait a minute, I know that guy. It's the president of Venezuela. He's in Caracas. Can I have my $50 million now, please?
Easiest 50 mil ever.
So then you see news starts to break that there are secret plans to ramp up pressure against Venezuela, and you start to wonder, wait a minute, are we going to do another coup in Venezuela? Is that what's going on here? Caroline Levitt asked about...
That went over everybody's head. He said, he didn't say, let's initiate the first one. He said, are we going to do another coup in Venezuela? And Jake, our people don't even watch stuff like this. He's telling you, we did one already. Are we going to do another one?
They don't even know what coup means. They probably think you're saying coupe.
Yeah, coupe, man. Like the Lexus coupe. They think it's a car. Pray for our people, man.
You got to see, man. This is how you know that this is the most... get Habakkuk 2. No, I'm sorry. Is it Micah 2, where they covet fields and take them by violence? Because this is what they do. If this is it's supposed to be a unipolar world now, where with technology, every country can thrive in this great technological revolution. But the U.S. is still trying to be that colonizer that controls everything. God's allowing them to do that. We could make peace with Russia, and everybody could live peacefully, and some will have more, some will have less, but everyone can benefit from the technologies and revolutionary things that are going on with AI, future of robots, transportation, the internet. All these things can help humanity. But God doesn't want it like that. He's got to harden the heart of this man. Read.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
That's what he's saying. These guys, he said, we're going to do another coup, another, what do you say, Thomas? Coup. I almost said, another coup. You got an uprising. Go in, send the elite special forces operators to go topple and then turn this one to this one, retrain their militaries, pay them a bunch of money, promise them all this stuff. Then they fight wars. So there's a guerrilla movement that starts to fight the government. Then the U.S. has got to come in and save everything. That's some evil stuff. Why? Are they doing it just because they want to be? No, because they want something on that land. Read.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
It is the power. Who can stop the United States? And watch what's going to happen next. Read on.
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
By talking.
By violence.
That's what this is what's going to happen. That's why this guy's like, I can't believe we're doing it again. Now, play on.
And you start to wonder, wait a minute, are we going to do another coup in Venezuela? Is that what's going on here? Caroline Levitt asked about whether or not the Trump administration is now talking about actual kinetic war with Venezuela, boots on the ground. And notice that she does not say no here.
The 3 U.S. warships that are being sent to Venezuela, and there's 4,000 Marines on board. Are you looking at the possibility of boots on the ground there?
What I will say with respect to Venezuela, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro...
They trying us to make sure no drugs come from Venezuela, right? What about the Mexican cartels?
Right. Yeah, right.
Right.
What about the Mexican cartels that ship all those drugs in through Mexico all of the time across the border? They ain't even saying nothing about that. But all of a sudden now they trying to get drugs from out of Venezuela.
They completely abandoned that great wall he was building. We're going to build a wall. We ain't heard nothing about this doggone wall. Where the wall at? We forgot. Everybody went to sleep about the wall. Now all of a sudden, let's go to Venezuela. They got drugs.
And I'm going to tell you, Colombia is known for more drugs in Bolivia. Cocaine comes from Bolivia and Mexico. All these, but Venezuela, this guy, they got to put a hit out for the president or a alleged reward, $50 million. Now we're getting ready to go into what they're actually doing now. And all of that, and the president of Brazil, who is the major country, the biggest country in South America, the biggest economy, the most people, and he says, I don't have to be subordinate to the dollar. So Trump's like, I can't go over there and really attack China like I want to, but South America's right in my backyard. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to say it's drugs, and then I'm going to go tend the Marines. Watch what's going to happen. Now, get out of that one. Let's go to, not number 5, go to, not number 6. Yes, number 7. 7, an article, yes. Then we're going to go up to number 5 and 6. So before you read, Solomon, the United States Navy has destroyers, aircraft carriers. They're sending destroyers. They're sending a submarine. In amphibious ships, that's where you launch troops from. Amphibious ships can float on the water, and they can make a land attack, and the gates open up, and then the troops come right out, okay? So this is what the U.S. is. This is from yesterday. They're sending them down to the Caribbean, the Gulf of America, change the name, I changed the name, going all the way down. They're getting ready to breach. They're getting ready to attack. This is crazy. Read this.
U.S. Navy destroyers, submarine, amphibious ships being sent toward Venezuela. U.S. President Donald Trump is deploying a flotilla of warships and other military assets to the waters off Venezuela in an operation aimed at Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The ominous moves signals a growing frustration with the Venezuelan leader over the flow of illicit narcotics into the United States. Maduro remains a fugitive from a 2020 U.S. indictment on narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges.
Notice that the U.S. tried to charge him. So his own government, why didn't his own government take him down, lock him up? He was doing that. Why didn't the U.S. just assign value of what they think he's supposed to do? Because he's bucking up against it. He's not going to agree with the U.S. in every policy. So, of course, they're going to create something so they can put a puppet government in. Play on. Read on.
Trump last week ordered at least 3 Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyers, a submarine, and other assets to head toward the South American nation. A source familiar with the operation confirmed to the War Zone on Wednesday. Earlier this week, Reuters reported that in addition to the destroyers, some 4,000 Marines aboard an amphibious ready group made up of 3 ships were also deploying to the region.
Pause. Now, a lot of people, when you get into the U.S. military, right, you have this different. So the United States Navy has Department of the Navy. The Marine Corps is the Department of the Navy. The Coast Guard is the Department of the Navy. That deals with maritime warfare, right? Then you have the U.S. Army. Their job is basically to destroy and ground defense, right? You have the United States, and they have air defense as well. But then you have the U.S. Air Force, and their job is air superiority. Now, the difference between the Marines is Marines are first to fight. Yep. Now, put up the video about the Marines, because it's very important. If you send the Marines in, you go into war. Yep. And then also you got special units. You got the Army Rangers. These guys are no joke.
I think they sent the SEALs in their cap.
Yeah. So you got different levels of tier. So a tier 1 is the elite of the elite. There are separate units they can detach. There's a unit called the U.S. Army Delta Force. They're very, very top secret. Then you have SEAL Team, not regular SEALs, SEAL Team 6, which is called the Groove Group. They're like the best of the SEALs. The Delta Force are the best of the Green Berets and best of the Rangers. That's the best the Army has to offer. No joke. Those guys are badass, right? But when you send the Marines, the whole Marine, they're going to attack. This is why when we were in, you had even the cooks will whoop your ass. The cooks can shoot. So, and I'm saying that because, and it's not a thing where, oh, Esau, this said, hell with Esau's military. We don't give a damn. The point is that when you send the Marines on an amphibious landing with a submarine and destroyers, and they said planes too, Michael, you're a logistics guy. How much logistical planning do you have to move 4,000 men with amphibious? Tell us, how long do you plan it? Can that be done overnight? I mean,
no.
Tell them plainly.
They have like when they say they look at they plan a backwards plan in order to make sure that they got the fuel right, what ships are leaving, what air they got in the area. That's a major operation. That's probably coming from around a 2-star or maybe even a 3-star level.
General. He's talking about a general.
Yeah. Big wigs made that happen right there.
So now we're going to show you the mission of the Marine Corps. There's a saying, they say Marines are first to fight. They're not the only ones, because you have like you have special force operators like Air Force Pararescue. You've got Army Rangers. Green Berets are more there. They go in and fight and set up shop and train government, overthrow governments, and train other armies. The SEALs, these guys are top guys. And who else, Mike? Who else is
you got I think that the Delta, it comes from all forces. Like they get pulled from U.S., they give the Air Force, the Navy. They get, if you're the best, they recruit you, they get you. The Green Berets, like if they send in the Marines, and the Marines going in to tear stuff up, I'll tell you straight. You got Marine Berets, which are special, like the paratroopers, they jump out of planes, but they'll kick doors in and stuff. If they send 10 Berets and Marines in there, it's war. I'm gonna tell you straight like
10
that.
10 Berets, you talking about the Rangers?
The Rangers, yes.
Yep.
You send them guys in, and they going to war.
So this is like what I'm saying is that Trump, he has to get approval for this. You can't just say send them 4,000. There's different layers they got to go through. So they're there now, going there. They're in the Gulf of America, get ready to. I don't know if they're going to actually stage the attack, but they're right there.
They have to, Cap, because you'll get an order. Like those Marines, they all got orders signed by some general saying, hey, you're authorized to deploy your troops here, because they have to have a commander over that region. He's letting them know, you got these troops here, put these guys here. This is my special forces assets. This is who I got for motor transportation. They got all that set up. This is a big operation. They ain't going there just hang out for a couple of hours and then they coming back.
And you have an armor that issues the ammunition, certain number of rounds. They're 5.56 rounds. Those are probably M4s. Yep. I used to carry the 16. That was back in the M4s. A shorter barrel. It's an easier weapon to. The packs. Look at, they got helmets. They got Kevlar. They got battle. But all of that. There's a lot that goes into that. And when they hit the ground, they are ready to fight and die. Yep. So. This is happening right now. Why is this not blanketed over all the news stations? Because Babylon is falling. Babylon is losing the global dominance, and they are going to fight with everything they got to maintain. That's why Trump said in the very beginning, he said, look, the dollar, they're attacking our dollar. He says, if we lose global dollar, it's worse than losing a war. He's dead serious about that. This is why he's sending the U.S. Navy, destroyers, submarines, planes, 4,000 of the first ready to fight U.S. Marines, with, like Micah said, orders from a general to go do that. And it's going down, and they're launching, and they're right there now. Now, play on.
First to fight is not just a slogan. The Marine Corps is the most ready organization among military services.
Right, so I'm not just saying it because I was in the Marine Corps. I'm not just saying that. These are nut jobs. They're a bunch of crazy. The way that they trained us, they're crazy. The staff sergeant, I never forget the staff sergeant. This dude was a nut job, crazy dude. He was a Vietnam veteran. He used to play games with us all the time, like games like damn, is this dude gonna kill us today? But you push right to the edge and bring you back, because the concept is when you go to war and they give you a direct order, hey, Sergeant, take that and go take that. You don't think about nothing. I'm gonna move and get it done. And if I die doing, I'm gonna do it, because you train like that. Same thing with the Rangers. Same thing with these guys that go through the intense training. SEALs, same thing. These guys are nut jobs. Yep. And this is why a lot of these guys come back and they kill themselves. There's a lot of guys have PSD. They come back, they commit suicide. They can't stop drinking because of all the stuff that they're trained to do. The point is of saying that is, if you're going to, as the president, who is the commander, who's the top, he's over the generals. He's the commander in chief, right? If he's going to send 4,000 of his first to fight unit section of the branch, you can't call a bluff. These are men's lives here. He's sending them in. Look, they got goddamn planes, helicopters.
Cap, this is to your point, you Officer Michael's point. What y'all are explaining is the mental behind why the other nations are scared of Esau.
You right.
Why they have the art of war, because nobody else, none of these other nations have the mental that they put in towards their army that Esau has. And this is why they are afraid of America. Yep. Because they don't have that art of war that God gave Esau.
And that's scriptural. Because remember in Genesis, he said war was in his heart. Mm-hmm. Thomas, you just do me a favor, tech guys. Type in, what is the annual budget of the U.S. military for 2025? Yeah. I believe it almost breached, like, it was hundreds of billions of dollars.
It was
crazy.
Yeah. This is stupid high.
Type that in real quick. Find that and play the rest of this video. So almost, more than $750 billion. And that's for 1 year, right, Akim? That's not like 20 years. That's 1 year. So to Thomas's point, this is why you have, and you have to really study it. Like when you realize, okay, everyone thinks, the Navy SEALs, yeah, there's some badass dudes in the water. And then out of the Navy SEALs, you got the elite that they take that makes SEAL Team 6. And these guys are the best of the best. Then you have Army Rangers and Green Berets. These guys are really strong, powerful guys. And then the best of the best of the best goes to the Delta Force, which those guys, they probably are probably the best out of all the service. These guys are crazy. They're incredibly intelligent men and it's too damn bad that they got to fight a rich man's war, because a lot of these guys are very, very disciplined and, they're realizing when they come back that it was bullshit they were fighting for. And that's why a lot of these guys, they snap. Play on.
I think the Marine Corps is going to be more needed in the future even than it has been in the past.
We fight for our friends. We fight for our peers. We fight for our freedom.
We fight for the Constitution and what it stands for. We fight to be able to defend those around the globe that may not be able to stand up for themselves.
The purpose of the Marine Corps is to do whatever the nation asks. Some of it is dangerous, some of it's difficult, but it's not our job to question it as much as it is to do it to the best of our ability.
So that's the point. Yep. It's not their job to question it. So you get orders. I remember when I got to the IRR, which is called the Individual Ready Reserve. I was getting ready to go to college to get my master's degree, and I was not in anything, just in standby. It's called the Individual Ready Reserve. Everyone goes through it, right? So as I'm in it, they put what they call a stop loss. They stop your contract and involuntarily extend it. Thank God I missed the quota. My unit went to Iraq. Thank God I didn't have to. I thank the Lord I never had to go to war. I don't. Officer Micah, I'm glad I didn't have to go. I'm glad you went, not me. Shit.
A lot of them Marines, Fallujah, sheesh. Yeah. A lot of them jokers didn't come. They didn't come back. Fallujah, I think that was the bloodiest war ever. Fallujah, a lot of Marines died over there. There's movies about that. There's a lot of guys that come back missing limbs. So I thank the Lord that, if you went to war, my hat goes off to you, and it's very hard to overcome that. When I know we got men in this room that went to war. Solomon went. Solomon was there. And I'll say this is that a lot of these guys that go to fight, they're fighting the war you have no control over. A lot of us went to the military because we didn't have any other opportunities. That was our way out. It was a way for us to
get a foothold in society. And so there's some good things you could take from the military. There's some good lessons you can learn from. But here's the point. The whole point now, let's go back now. Go to how is Venezuela responding to this? So they're taking the threat of 4,000 Marines, submarines, destroyers, all of that. Plus, they got the big guns on the ships and all of that. Destroyer has amazing weaponry on the ship itself. How is Venezuela reacting to that? Put the next article up.
The Venezuelan government mobilized more than 4 million militia troops.
You misread that, Solomon. I think you misread that. I thought it did 4,000.
More than 4 million militia troops, seemingly in response to reports of U.S. naval movements in the region.
If you have 4 million, no, militia means it's not necessarily they gather. Y'all know what militia is. A somewhat organized version. Some are civilians that will gather together and they form, like they had the militiamen during the.
That's how the Rangers were formed.
Right.
They started out as a militia. They grabbed weapons. They learned guerrilla warfare tactics to pretty much fight off any enemy, and that's how you got your Army Rangers today. That's it.
Right. So the 4 million. Do me a favor. Type. What is the number? What is the total number in the U.S. military manpower wise? So Venezuela is gathering let's just say they're wrong and they only gather 1 million. 1 million guns, if they're armed, that is a force to be reckoned with. So Venezuela, they're taking this very seriously. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. 4 million militia troops. Play on. So if you take up that's the Air Force, the Army's the biggest out of all of them. Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force, and you could technically say Space Force, but those branches of service, they add up together 2.1 million. That's a huge force. They're gathering 4 million militia troops. This is how serious they're taking the U.S. They're very paying attention. Now play on, watch this.
The Venezuelan government mobilized 3 U.S. Navy missiles destroyers have been deployed to the waters of Venezuela.
Hey, stop. There's Madero. There's the guy that they have $50 million reward for his capture. $50 million. They love this guy. 4 million militia troops waiting for the U.S. to come through. This, I'm telling you right now, they're taking this seriously. Play on.
Washington and Caracas broke off formal bilateral diplomatic relations in 2019.
So Caracas is the tap in Caracas, Venezuela. Caracas should be the capital of Venezuela. And basically, Madero was not going to give in to Trump's demands. So Trump, because he didn't like it, I'm just giving a laymanized term, labeled him as drug cartel. He's over the whole cartel. When Madero has enough love of his people, he gathered 4 million of the citizens to form a militia. If they hated Madero, why wouldn't they say, just turn this guy over? You're gonna come and attack us with your destroyers. We just take Madero. They love Madero because he's a leader for the people. And 4 million of them was like, yo, we're ready to roll. That's Caracas is the capital. It's right there in the red. And I bet you has it like 4 or 5 big city. Okay? So remember that. Now look, you got Trinidad, that's what Trinidad and Tobago. You got Officer Mike, we went there on the Quest 6, I think, or 7. Where did we go? We went all those places.
Oh yeah, we was all up and down through there. The Curacao.
Aruba. We went to Aruba. Yeah.
They called the police on us at one of them.
Mm-hmm. Did we go to St. George's? Grenada. I'm trying to think. We went to St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Yeah. Okay. Play.
Aruba.
We're almost done, everybody.
The U.S. government has not recognized Maduro's last two electoral victories, and the Trump administration has repeatedly called Maduro's presidency illegitimate.
So the people voted him in 2 different times. Trump doesn't like it. They put a $50 million reward for this guy's capture. They send in the U.S. Marines and the destroyers, like we talked about, coming to the shores. This is how much love that they have for this guy. They were able to create 4 million militia force. This is happening this week right now. Why is this not all over the news? Why is this not everywhere? No one's talking about this. Play on.
A los representantes, no lo sepa. Que lo sepan los imperios.
President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country.
Okay, my thing is this. We in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right.
The YN literally walk. You go on Canal Street. They got weed trucks. They selling weed right on the street. Why ain't policing that up? He worried about them folks all the way over there. They literally you come down here. You go on Canal Street, Bourbon. They are selling weed right in front of you. They'll walk up to you. You want to buy some gas? No, I don't want no gas. That's what they call it. They sell this stuff out here, but nothing. Crickets.
And Micah, to a bigger scale, what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of America's economy is run off drugs. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is ran, and a lot of it is money laundering. So for them to act like as if, they trafficking so much, they know how much money they making off drugs because they confiscate the drugs and they make money off of it. So it's an oxymoron, and they just this is propaganda. When we read about it in First Esdras about telling it to the American public. So when they go in there, they're like, yeah, we had to do this.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. And again, if that was let's say truly that their aim was to stop drug trafficking, then you should see a unilateral approach to Bolivia, to Colombia, and like you mentioned, Mexico. More Mexico than anybody. That's the biggest impact is through Mexico. And then your Coast Guard should ramp up every port. They should have inspections every day if they really wanted to stop that. The reality is that they want it to come in. And they do thrive, like Officer Thomas mentioned. Play on. We're almost done.
El Ejército Unido del Libertador Simón Bolívar.
We were the United Army of the Liberator, Simón Bolívar.
Que le dio la libertad en Boyacá
who gave freedom to what is now Colombia and Boyacá.
Hoy es Colombia. No lo olvidemos.
Let us never forget Colombia military personnel.
Nunca. Militares colombianos. No olviden
that you are also the children of Simón Bolívar.
So they love this guy Maduro because Maduro is for the people, and he's not bowing down. And here's the other thing. You don't think that this guy, Maduro, talks to the same guy in Brazil who says, we don't have to be subordinate to the dollar anymore. So what do you think is going to happen if Brazil has the influence to pull Argentina on board? And now Venezuela, that's almost all of South America. Now, if they begin to cut themselves off from North America, guess what? 3/4 of the earth is being controlled by BRICS, and that's where they're heading. So look, y'all, I think that was it, right? Article-wise? Okay. So we're going to end right now. We're going to go to Laura back attack, y'all. But listen, y'all pay attention. Watch the news. Look what's going on around you. Stay tuned for this week. What's going to happen? Trump is looking to isolate Brazil. He's looking to do something, and we're seeing it right now. So y'all stay tuned. Watch the news, routers, outside sources, other Redacted is really good. Look around, okay? Don't just regurgitate the same crap that they play on the basic news that they want you to see in America. Search for your news. All right, with that, we're going to Law Back Attack. Stick around. Shalom.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in.
Shalom, everybody. Welcome to the Law Back Attack. I'm Captain Shem. And again, the goal of this section is to make it so that we don't have to have a Law Back Attack. And this is why we have programs set up both for the sisters with the ladies in waiting. Shout out to Captain Joel, where the sisters are going to get their certain body fat percentage so that they can be prepared for ladies in waiting for their future husbands. In addition to that, we have the body fat percentage program that helps to get not just some, all of our men who are going to be ranking men that are going to go out are going to be a standard of health that has been set. Rolling out September 1st, 24%. You better get with the program. Many of you had 13 months, and some of you haven't done anything. It's time for some action. How do you do that? I'm going to give you 4 pieces of advice. Number 1, you have to figure out what is your daily maintenance calories that you need at a resting rate, meaning without cardio, without anything, just what you need to get through a normal day. And let's say those calories were 2,000, right? Let's use nice even numbers, 2,000. So if you ate 2,000 calories, you're not going to gain weight, you're not going to lose weight. So how do you lose the fat? You go and eat in a calorie deficit. You're taking in less calories per day than you need to maintain. And you should strength train. You should work out and eat high protein. If you do that, so it's find out your maintenance, eat in a calorie deficit, eat high protein and lift weights, and you got to talk to a trainer, YouTube it. There's everything. You got workout programs for free online. And also to help speed it up, do cardio, because cardiovascular activity like running, jogging, biking, stair climber, treadmaster, all that burns more calories. So if I'm already maintenance and I'm eating in a deficit and I'm eating high protein and strength training and I'm doing cardio, it puts me in a bigger deficit. I can maintain muscle and gain muscle while losing body fat. Because what's the purpose of body fat? It is stored calories. That's all it is. So if you do those 4 things, you will lose body. You don't want to lose muscle, lose body fat. How do you do that? Like I just said, you got to understand calories. You have to understand calories. You must understand. Once you understand that, you're going to be all right. And we got men in all the health offices in each school are set up to help y'all. So I want to hear anything about that. I keep holding the same scriptures. I want Sirach chapter 30. Is it 7 about don't be greedy upon meats? Sirach, look at 37. Let me look at it. Sirach, get 38 and 4, then we're going to jump to that. 38 and 4, First Solomon, please.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
Food is medicine. Pop-Tarts, Twinkies, fried chicken with all the industrial oils, that is going to hurt you. That's not medicine. That's poison. Okay, if I look at the ingredients of certain processed foods, and there are, say, 36 ingredients, and half of them I can't even syllabize and pronounce the words. No, you shouldn't eat that. Read it again.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. And he that is wise will not abhor them.
But it's easy to hate them because they make food that is so palatable and so sweet and salty. It's like, I don't want to eat broccoli with white rice and a chicken thigh and some whole blueberries when I can have all this other stuff that tastes It's hypersensitive. It's super sweet, super salty, and they work on the textures and like how the amount of research and goes into the way that a Dorito is held in your hand and the way that it crunches. They do so much research. The way that they mix certain chemicals, ingredients to get you addicted. Okay, go look at how many ingredients. Not tech team. How many ingredients are in a Popeye's chicken sandwich? It's ridiculous. It's supposed to be chicken and breadcrumbs and eggs. That's it. It's not. Or a flour. It is ridiculous. Read it again.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 38 and verse 4. The Lord have created medicines out of the earth.
So medicines that come from the earth. You've got kale. You got spinach, broccoli, carrots. These are just things that grow. Blueberries, mulberries, raspberries. These are all things that grow. And then we know, because we're Israelites, the dietary law tells us what animals we can eat. And God is a master of all masters, because the animals that we're supposed to eat that are on the ground, they eat things from the ground, and they have highly processed filtration systems. It's an amazing thing that God set up. So if you eat things from the ground that grow, that are single ingredient, and you eat lawful beasts like a cow, like a sheep, like bison, like elk, things that swim in the waters, and it's amazing. Why would God say, and I don't have the mind of God, why would God want you to eat a fish that has fins and scales? Well, scales do something to protect the fish. This is why catfish, we can't eat them. Certain fish we cannot eat. So God gives us the blueprint for everything that moves to eat and everything that grows to eat. If we do these things and eat meat, eggs, vegetables, fruits, and if you're going to have bread, it needs to be a certain healthy bread. If you eat these things, you are going to be strong. Now, read Sirach 37 about the meat, please.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 37 and verse 29.
Now, I had a brother reach out to me the other day. They try to box me into say, no, carnivore is not all right. Eat it. Now, Esau do that. Eating carnivore, according to the scriptures, is not a good idea. Okay? Is it? If you want to eat meat and vegetables, that's not carnivore. Do it. Go ahead. You should not eat all meat every time. And this is God saying and not me. Read that.
Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing.
Right. That's how fatbacks become so fat, because they eat a lot of desserts, Pop-Tarts, okay, Snickers, and all this different 3 packs of Snickers. Read on.
Nor too greedy upon meats.
Nor too greedy on meats. If you're eating a carnivore diet, now I know the science behind it. It's no carbs and no I get that. But the Lord said not too greedy on meats. If I eat nothing but meat, I'm being greedy upon meats. This is why eat it. Get the moderation. We're done. Get Sirach 31. Moderation means I don't eat all vegetables. I don't eat all meat. I don't eat all just beans my whole life. You eat in moderation. The Lord gives us you the understanding. Read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 31 and verse 19.
Yes, sorry.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
And this is not a very little food. Like if I have 3 kernels of corn or half a carrot, that's a little bit of food. That's not even a tenth of your calories for that's not talking about eating a little teeny bit of food. That means you don't have to eat all the damn time, fat back. It's ridiculous. The reason why diabetes is so prevalent is because people eat too frequently. They get into insulin resistance because they have too many insulin spikes. You can eat once or twice a day. That's all you need to do. Once a day, twice a day at the most. That's very little. Because if all you ate was a teeny bit of food, you would die. Read on.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
We're wrapping it up. Read on.
And he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed.
Right. And you're not going to have all type of gas. People have gas, burp, and fall all the time. But this guy, when you eat a lot and you eat often, you're going to have indigestion problems. Watch this. It tells you. Read on.
Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
If you eat nothing but vegetables, guess what? Or nothing but meat, sound sleep comes what?
Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
Moderate. This is why a lot of you vegans are bugged the hell out. You Israelites can't be vegan. Here's the thing. We know the law. You can never be a vegan as an Israelite because once a year you're going to have to eat meat. That doesn't even make any sense. So you're going to torture yourself all year and once eat, then eat lamb? No, that's stupid. Okay? We got to eat in moderation. Okay? Read on.
He riseth early, and his wits are with him.
He's sharp. Jump out of bed, ready to rock and roll. Read on.
But the pain of watching
Read on.
and choler
Yep.
and pangs of the belly
All problems that come from what? Not eating moderately. Read on.
are with an unsatiable man.
And that's why you're a big, fat, giant, fatback lard ass like this lard ass is about to sing a song. Shout out to Bishop. Bishop sent me. Bishop. Hey, y'all don't know Bishop, man. Some of y'all, Bishop is one of the, he make you, I remember the classes we used to have back in New York. Yo, this is, even back in this, when we was up in Bishop's house. He used to say stuff, and we used to laugh all the time. Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop. They're funny. These brothers are funny. They're serious men. They're the greatest men, but they're funny. Bishop's funny. So he sent me this. I started laughing. I think we see this before, but Bishop's the king of all. Bishop's the king of fat jokes. He used to. That's where I get it from. But hey, this is a big fat giant lard ass. He's fatter than Severus. Play this.
I'm tired of being fat. Tired of being fat. Tired of being.
So, this is actually a lard-back repentance song. He is tired of being fat, and he's singing a song about it. The issue is, will he actually do what his song says? Because the goal is for fat people is, yeah, we're going to point out the fact that you look like a beached whale that came upon the earth. We understand that. We understand all that you're so fat that if you jumped up in the air, you get stuck and that you got to carry around crowbars with WD-40 so we can get you down. All that's true, but the goal is for the fat jokes to stop. Play on. Let's see if the fat back is true. Play on. It's the Instagram. It shouldn't be that hard. Oh, come on. Get me Ciroc. No, we got it up. We're going to close out. There you go.
Tired of being fat. Tired of being fat. I don't want to work out. Just to unbig my back. I just want to eat some. Just want to eat unhealthy snacks. But I gotta work out to unbig my back. Oh.
Listen, for anybody to say that fat people don't have talent, that's a lie. The fat people got some talent. Okay, so next one. This is a healthy, portly sister that is looking for blessings from for her food. Let's see what. Shout out to Bishop Kanai. Bishop, you crazy?
In Jesus' name.
I think not.
Say what?
You want me to bless 2 mega cheeseburgers, loaded mac and cheese, and a bowl of baked beans?
Yeah, Lord, it's the 4th of July. Come on, like you.
No.
Lord, it's the 4th of July.
I'm calling a fast.
Not today, Lord, not today.
No, I am calling a fast.
But you always doing.
So shout out. God's against the fat man. That's the bottom line. The fat woman. So look, before we get ready to close our right on time, y'all take your health seriously. You brothers, in order for you to maintain fitness standards, you have to be in the green. You know what you got to do. I'm getting tired of saying the same thing. I sound like a broken record, but by Men's Conference 2026, everybody going to be in the green. Even Hefty Hank. Hefty Hank, you better be down 120 pounds. Okay, 120 pounds, Hefty Hank. Everybody can do it. We got programs set up for you. We're here to help. I feel calls from brothers. I try to help you out. You all can do it. And we got many, many success stories that are getting done. So let's put an end to obesity. It's a very serious thing in IUIC and in the greater black and brown community. The way we heal it is by being the light of the world, showing the rest of black America and Latino America and Native American America that we can fix it. When we show that we can do it, we can get other people interested in the Bible who may not understand the whole Israelite thing and understand that, oh, we're the Israelites. But wait, all of y'all people lost all this weight. How? We got the same access to internet. How? Brother, sister, it's because God tells us a lot more than you learned. Much more in the Bible is unlocked our understanding, and we have to be the light of the world. So that's what we got to do. Shout out to everybody that in the green. You stay in the green. You yellows get to the green. You reds get to the yellows, and it will get you to the green. All right? All praise. Shout out to Officer Solomon. He's a brother with us. He's done an outstanding job. He is going to get to the green. Ain't that right, Solomon? You're on your way there, brother. All praise to the Most High. So with that, I'm Captain Shem. With that, we say shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in.
Hey, shalom. Thank you for sticking around. Hey, a lot. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, East Coast. Almost midnight out here. We thank you. Tomorrow morning, share the feed, share the post so we can get this up to 40,000 subscribers. We want to, Officer Michael, do your honors with the Booster Club. We want to thank all you again. We thank you at the beginning of the show. We're going to thank you again at the end of the show. Text GIVE to 646-982-3858 or hit the barcode, scan that, and donate to the Booster Club. The Booster Club is putting 12 tribes worldwide. So with that, we thank you. We're right on time. We're getting ready to close out. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Micah.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Mikael.
And with that, Israel, we say
shalom.
Shalom.
You're never going to see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need. Can't never forget. Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees. I never forget. Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed. And they gotta get it. Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
You're now tuned in to Precept Upon Precept.
Crew so strange. Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression.